Tutorials are great, tutorials are educational. They're also too complicated for the average Joe to understand, at least if you're the kind of person who has years of experience. When you go to find tutorials about basic any kind of software on YouTube, you tend to end up with videos that are too complicated and technical for the average person to understand if they're just trying to learn the software. I see this pretty frequently when I go try to learn something, but I need a ton of prior context in the software in question. You can't do XYZ before learning ABC. It doesn't work like that. Whether it be motion graphics, video editing, graphic design, there are all videos on it, all taught by people with many years of experience in their field. But this begs a bigger question, however. Do you need to teach on their level, where they have years of experience and know what they're doing? Or can you dumb it down just a smidge and teach on a more beginner's level? I tell you, answer right after this. Good news! My work schedule is changing, so I'll be able to consistently stream on Twitch. For once. I'll be live every Saturday and Sunday at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you enjoy what you like seeing here and you would like to talk more about whatever I talk on this channel, changes from time to time, you're very welcome to join me. The link to that will be down below, as well as the link to my Discord server, The Aspirating Empire, if you want to talk whenever I'm not on stream. Do what do you want? Anyway, let's get into this video. So let's get a little context here. As mentioned before, the majority of tutorials on YouTube are taught by people who have many years of experience. Well, that's all fine and dandy, however, but a lot of people can't understand right away what they're talking about in the video. As like I said, you can't do XYZ before learning ABC. And a lot of these tutorials are done by people who don't really get that small but very important detail. I can recall an example where I was trying to learn Fusion DaVinci Resolve. Now, if you're not hip to Fusion, it's a VFX and motion graphics compositor that is node-based. Now, most types of software of this kind are timeline-based, and it's a lot easier to understand because of its more linear workflow. It's kind of like an NLE for video editing, but specifically for motion graphics. Fusion is node-based, and if you can get down nodes, it's a lot easier and a lot more efficient to do. The only problem is that when you're starting to learn the program, there's a ton of different nodes and they all do different things. And the tutorial I found, while informative and high quality, it was just too hard to understand. This dude was flying through edits with such surgical precision that it was hard to keep up and learn what I was trying to learn. I don't know what he's trying to do. He was trying to teach me how to make the best looking thing. But here's the problem here. I've only been using the software for about 5-10 minutes trying to learn on my own when I decided, you know what, I'm gonna learn up a tutorial about this one. And that's the problem I'm trying to get at here. This is the case for a lot of people. When they go to find tutorials on any specific subject, the majority of what they find in the results is just stuff they don't understand. They're being taught by people who have years of experience under their belt, and that's fine. But they need also to understand that the audience that they're going to get are beginners. And that was actually the whole impetus behind my content creation masterclass. I saw a market for people who wanted to get into content creation, especially now that we're in a pandemic. They don't know the basics. They don't know what to do. So I wanted to go from beginning to end, step by step, detail by detail, what needs to be done. I don't just start, hey, here's how you do SEO. Hey, here's how you do video editing. Hey, here's how you do legal issues, which, as boring of a topic as it is a big thing. But we can't get into that all right at the beginning before they even uploaded a single video. So that is the big issue here. And one issue that a lot of people don't realize. Take, for example, you want a master's degree on a subject in college, like computer engineering. Yeah, it's a hot topic these days. It pays a ton if you can get a good gig in it. But you don't throw the students straight into the dissertation on the first day of the first semester of the first year. You wouldn't do that, and naturally you wouldn't do that with YouTube videos. Again, this is a big issue that a lot of people tend to miss, and one that everyone should be capitalizing on as much as they possibly can. But that brings me around to my main topic of this video, looking from the beginner's perspective. Like I said, a lot of people don't look from this perspective when they make their videos. They teach how they know it, and as an Aspie, I can perfectly understand that. I tend to teach things from the way that I tend to see it. And the way I tend to see it is a lot different than most people. But regardless, looking from this perspective can be huge for you. Take my video on Krita that I did a few months back. It was a video where I taught people how to use Krita, a free open source piece of software that is incredibly functional for what it is. I taught them how to make an overlay. I taught them how to make a logo. It was really just a rehash of my own logo, but it was as basic as I could get it. Not a whole lot of people use Krita for this purpose, however. It's not very well known for it. Krita is very popular in not really graphic design space, but digital art. It's what it's geared towards. But the fact that this video, which at the time of recording this has gotten over 600 views in just a few months when I only have 52 subscribers, that's kind of a big deal and it says something. But something also to note is that the title of the video had something to do with it. Krita 101. This says two things. One, it's a video on Krita specifically, and second, the 101 denotes it's probably for beginners. Not super advanced stuff, but just beginner stuff, simple stuff that you can do at home in 5 minutes. Even though the video was upwards about 15, it's still the same thing. You could still do this in 5 minutes with just a little bit more practice. But I didn't say you're gonna make it the best looking thing right away. I did not say that whatsoever. It was really the point of the video was, hey, here's this piece of software. Hey, here's how you make an overlay. Hey, how do you make a logo? Practice. That was basically the point of the video, was to say all those things. Another reason why the video got pushed in a very good direction was the number of tutorials on Krita. Krita is not the industry standard. In fact, Krita in essence functionally is a cross between Photoshop and InDesign, merging some of the best parts of the two pieces of software, which are paid by the way, into one program. But it's just not the industry standard, so there's not as many tutorials on Krita as there are on Adobe Photoshop or Premiere Pro or InDesign or whatever. So that's a market that could be well broken into, really. What all of this means together, however, is that you don't have to teach people how to make the best looking thing. Naturally, we are drawn to that because, look at this guy. Look at this guy. Oh, his logo is the best looking thing ever. Oh my God, I wish I had a logo at that, but I don't know how to make it. So I'm gonna go look up tutorials on how to make the best thing. But once they get to the tutorial, they watch part of it and then they get into the software themselves. They don't make anything because, oh my God, I just realized I don't know how to use this software. Again, big problem. So teaching people a topic that is less experience required can help you reach an entirely new audience you never thought you could. Because you're not teaching them to make the best thing, you're getting them familiar with the software first. Then you can move on to the more advanced stuff. Again, you don't throw your students who's getting a master's degree in something into the dissertation on the first day. You wouldn't do it with your YouTube videos. Think as you teach that your audience may not really understand what you're doing right away. Nudging them along step by step, easily and calmly, is a better way of doing things than just saying, node here, node there, connect these together, node there. Node, like being vague about it is not going to help anyone. Teaching them as if you were the person in that particular place is a better way of doing it. As content creators, we strive to be doing bigger and better things, but there's no college course or school, for that matter, that teaches you how to do YouTube or teach you how to do Twitch. So as a result, we are beholden to the skills of our peers. And again, that's fine, but there's just a large market and a large hole that just hasn't been filled. This is one that you can fill yourself. You could capitalize on your lack of experience to teach people from your perspective. I made a post on Twitter a while back, just about a week and a half ago, talking about the impetus behind this particular video, where I got a comment about someone saying that even though they have years of experience in video editing, they're only just starting to dabble in motion graphics. And he mentioned specifically he couldn't find any tutorials that were as easy to understand as my own. I know it's a flex. I know it's weird for me talking about it, but this one really got me in the feels because I honestly don't think the video was that great. There were some errors, but the fact that this person it's the fact that he found that my tutorial was better than the ones he ever found speaks volume as to what you can do, what I can do, what any of us can do as content creators. In the end, you just don't need to teach people how to make the best looking thing. When teaching them the basics of a free to use piece of software, whether it be Krita, Inkscape, anything else for that matter, but I can't think of anything off the top of my head, teaching them the basics of that thing is better than teaching them how to make the best thing. We all start somewhere. and now is the time to do it.